So, Neeraj, what brings you here? Why do you want to do an MBA?
Sir, in the last 15 months, when I was working in a startup, there were numerous instances where my manager told me how to react in a particular situation. But most of the times, I would fail myself to understand why I was doing that. So, to improve my holistic knowledge of management, I am pursuing MBA.
Yeah. So, Neeraj, the answer was well crafted. I would say you could mention one or two anecdotes of your work life where your manager took a particular decision, but you did not know the reason behind it. That way, you'll be able to convince the panel better. Moving ahead with why MBA for freshers. Now, this question could be intimidating to freshers, but the only difference between a person with a work experience and a fresher is that probably when a faculty is giving a lecture or during case competitions, the person with work experience will be able to relate more, while the fresher will just have to imagine himself in that situation. But does that put a fresher on a back foot? Definitely not. Being a fresher, say if you're an engineer, you could talk about how you showed your managerial skills during your undergraduation. You can also talk about how a managerial aspect and a technical knowledge will help you grow better in your career ahead. If you're a commerce student, for example, you can talk about how you want to understand management as a whole in order to understand the financial implications on the entire organization. You can also talk about how you want to be a key decision maker in terms of finances and so. And for any other stream of your undergraduation, it's a fundamental that you talk about how doing an MBA will actually impact or make you understand the managerial concepts in your particular domain. So, summing it up, why MBA does not have a right or a wrong answer. It's all about convincing yourself and the panel that MBA is the next best step for you. Neeraj, can you mention a few of your strengths and weaknesses?
I believe that my greatest strength is to solve problems quickly and efficiently. I can see any given situations from different perspectives, which makes me uniquely qualified to complete my work even under challenging conditions. That problem solving skill of mine makes me a better communicator as well. My strongest asset is my work ethics and my willingness to step in when I am needed the most. I am not afraid to take challenges and take on a difficult client or do a project that nobody wants to take because those are the clients and projects that teach me the most. I take great pride in my ability to step in and adapt to any situation to get the best results. I often struggle with delegating and saying no to work and choose to take on a larger workload to ensure that tasks is completed perfectly. This puts more pressure on me and I tend to take more and more than I can handle. I feel I have become too critical on myself. This has led to burnout and negative self talk inside me. In the past, this has led me to feel stressed and affected me in various ways. Secondly, I knack for perfection and I'm a quality conscious person. This quality of mind is both my weakness as well as my strength. But majorly, it leads to weakness when it comes to a deliverable within a stipulated period of time. I try to concentrate a lot on the intricate details and to achieve excellence and perfection, and this at times leads to me for asking for extensions. I intend to work on the same by being a smart worker and not doing an exhaustive study.
Always remember you are sitting for an interview of a B school, which means you have to demonstrate skills like leadership, team player, perseverance, ownership, among many other qualities. Do not merely list your strengths and weaknesses. In fact, try and craft a compelling way to highlight what you can bring to this table. Also, it is important that you convey the steps that you are planning to take to overcome these weaknesses. Coming to the don'ts of the question, do not be too humble or too arrogant when you are answering it. Find a subtle balance between the two. Also, it is important that you don't list n number of strengths and weaknesses. Just stick to two or three and ensure you are ready to answer any cross questions as well. So, Neeraj, can you share your biggest failure?
My greatest failure was that once I did not welcome the suggestion from my junior. So, the event, which was supposed to be the greatest event of academic session, turned into a disaster. It was time of our annual college fest. We confronted a problem and I was discussing it with my other team members. My juniors suggested something regarding the same, which my other teammates agreed on, but I was not agreeing upon. But later, after the things turned out to be the worst, I realized that the suggestions were acceptable that were suggested by juniors and they would have been implemented much earlier.
Coming to review of this answer, mentioning about the failure in interview can be costly if you do not know what to include in your answer. This negative question can be turned into a positive opportunity by following these 4 simple steps. First, you talk about a relevant failure. Do mention your failures that you had in your work experience if you're a fresher in your undergraduation project. Secondly, take ownership. Do not try and say that this was a project from a group and the group did not work. No, talk about your contribution. Talk about how your extra mile could have actually led to a better result. Third could be share a story. Talk about the context, talk about when it happened, what were the implications of your decisions, how did you overcome, how did you move on from there. And the fourth and the very important part of this answer is the lessons you learned. Remember that the interviewer wants to understand if you are actually learning something from your failure and moving ahead. What to avoid in this answer? The first thing could be to choose a realistic failure. Now, sometimes to impress the panelists, people might say something like, I could improve the revenue of the company by just 20%. Now, 20% is a huge margin. So take only realistic failures. Second, do not go in depth. Do not talk about your deepest secrets and failures. Do not mention any personal issues or a character flaw that could have happened. Third, do not be extra positive about yourself. Do not say things like, I've never had such a big failure. This will only put you in the bad light. And the last point is, do not take yourself down. Accepting a failure does not mean that you get very emotional. It should not be that you're showcasing a lack of confidence and that you're not ready to take risks. So these are some of the things that you avoid in this question.